I'm gonna reveal to you a secret way on how you treat adrenal fatigue that no one talks about. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about that, and I'm actually shocked about the misinformation that is going on there. What the people are teaching there is actually worsening your adrenal fatigue. I'm gonna debunk that, and I'm gonna show you how long it takes to heal adrenal fatigue, how to heal adrenal fatigue, and I'm also gonna provide you a success story of my client Theodora that recovered from adrenal fatigue. But before we even start, maybe you are wondering if you even have adrenal fatigue. So here are some overall symptoms that you might consider or that you want to look at, and that would show you if you have adrenal fatigue. And then I would give you some more specific symptoms that would show you if you really have adrenal fatigue. So the first overall symptoms are like weakness, you have lack of energy, you have trouble concentrating, you have difficulty doing simple tasks that you used to do without any more effort, you have a hoarse voice, you have a weak digestion, constipation, anxiety and depression. These can be all under the umbrella of adrenal fatigue, but also keep in mind these symptoms can be also due to chronic viral infection like EBV, for example. But there are more specific symptoms that show you if you have adrenal fatigue. And if you have a lot of them that I'm going to explain to you right now, then it's very much likely that you have adrenal fatigue. One of the symptoms are that you crash throughout the day, especially in the morning or in the afternoon. Another symptom is that you are tired at work, but you are energetic when you are at home. Then you don't feel rested after a full night's sleep. You constantly crave stimulants, you constantly crave salt, and you always thirsty, and it seems like you can't quench a thirst. These are all symptoms that show if you have adrenal fatigue or not. So if you have a lot of this, what I just said, then it's very much likely that you have it. But don't worry, you can do something about that. But there is a big misconception in alternative medicine or in medicine in general about adrenal fatigue. They don't understand that entirely. I mean, it's great that more and more alternative practitioners are acknowledging adrenal fatigue, but they don't really understand it entirely, because adrenal fatigue doesn't only mean that your adrenals are weak. It means that your adrenals, when they are weak, that they produce sometimes too much and sometimes too little hormones. Basically, they're sometimes overactive and sometimes underactive. And this is leading to the symptoms that I just explained. And there's a secret way on how to heal adrenal fatigue. And the most important thing you have to take care of if you want to heal your adrenal fatigue is that you have a balanced blood sugar. Why is that? Because a balanced blood sugar is leading to stronger adrenals. If your blood sugar drops, then your body doesn't have an energy source to be more energetic, to function basically. So your body has to compensate that somehow. And your body does that with adrenaline that is getting it from your adrenals. So if you don't have a balanced blood sugar and your blood sugar drops a lot throughout the day, that means that you exhaust your adrenals all the time because they produce adrenaline all the time. One of their main functions is that your adrenals produce adrenaline and cortisol, and your body needs to compensate if your blood sugar is dropping. So you need to balance out your blood sugar. How are you doing this? You need to snack every 1.5 to 2 hours, which goes mostly against the grain of what other people are saying. Intermittent fasting is in the trend. High protein diets are a big trend right now, and I'm going to debunk that as well. But you need to eat every 1.5 to 2 hours to heal your adrenal fatigue, because otherwise you can't keep your blood sugar stable. It's not possible otherwise. And if you don't have a stable blood sugar, that means you exhaust your adrenals all the time. And a lot of professionals say to you, you should eat a high protein diet. I'm telling you, this actually worsens your adrenals, because if you eat a high protein diet, that also means you eat high fat. Why is that? Because if you eat steak, if you eat eggs, if you eat dairy, or even if you're plant-based, you eat lots of nuts and seeds, avocado, coconut, whatever plant fats you're going to eat, or whatever animal fats or animal protein you eat, it always comes with fat. No matter if you have the leanest meat, the leanest fish or whatever, it always comes with fat. So it's not possible to eat high protein without eating high fat. And when you eat a high protein meal, which is a high fat meal, your bloodstream is filled with fats. If you have more fats in the bloodstream, that means that you have less oxygen in the bloodstream, the bloods get thicker, and the bloodstream is not flowing as good as it used to be. And this puts a strain on the heart, because the heart, obviously we know that, is pumping blood through our body, and it needs power to do that. And if the blood has more fats in there, it doesn't flow that good, so your heart has to pump harder for that. But the body has a nice mechanism on how to cope with that. It's only good for the situation you're in, but it's not a good long-term solution, to be honest. And here we are again at your adrenals. Your adrenals produce adrenaline to thin out the blood, that the strain on the heart is not that hard anymore. So if you eat a high fat and high protein diet, that means you exhaust your adrenals even more and more. So some people, they recommend you doing intermittent fasting and doing high protein, and this is actually worsening your adrenal fatigue. So you have to be really careful with that. So what can you expect if you want to heal adrenal fatigue? How long can it take? You can see improvements on adrenal fatigue even after a couple of weeks if you are doing the right things. You can heal adrenal fatigue even in a couple of months. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes more, sometimes it can take even a year or longer than a year. It all depends on what you are doing. If you're snacking constantly, if you are taking the right herbs, if you're taking the right supplements, if you're eating high protein or low protein, because as I just mentioned, high protein diets are not good for adrenal fatigue. If you are on caffeine is actually the worst thing that you can do for your adrenals, because every time you consume any kind of caffeine, doesn't matter if it's coffee, matcha tea, chocolate, everything that has caffeine, black tea, white tea, whatever, then your adrenals produce lots of adrenaline that will give you this artificial energy. It is putting you in a constant fight or flight mode, which is an artificial fight or flight mode that is caffeine doing to you, which is exhausting your adrenals again and again. So you have so many factors that could exhaust your adrenals. Of course, stress in general also plays a big role on how long it could take if you heal your adrenals, or how long it can take until you actually healed your adrenals. And this is what actually my client Theodora did. She came to me in summer 2023 and she had the symptoms of adrenal fatigue. She crashed throughout the day. She had the issues that she was tired at work, but she came home and then she was energetic and she couldn't really sleep. So we worked on that and we were able to recover her adrenals. We were able to heal her adrenal fatigue. And nowadays, she's even training for an ultra marathon in Morocco. So she's walking like 8 or 10 miles every day to be able to do an ultra marathon. I mean, this just shows on, if you're doing the right thing, that you can actually recover your adrenals and you can even be in a better shape than you used to be before. So this is actually what's happening. This is what's possible when you give the body what it needs. If you need support, if you want to know exactly how we did that, if you want to heal your adrenal fatigue, if you want to get rid of your energy issues, then there's a link in the description where you can book a free discovery call with us, and then we can see if and how we can help you and how we can support you in healing your adrenal fatigue. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.